Coach Mangini is here making his triumphant return. Coach, just to dispel some propaganda that we're about to hear, no one on this show said the Chiefs are going to take a major step back. All he said was maybe you might miss Tyreek Hill as sort of a security blanket if you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't.
Yeah.
30 of 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. Here's Mahomes after the game. Take a listen.
I always feel like I have something to prove. I mean, I'm just this guy from Texas Tech, man, that they said they couldn't play in the NFL. So I always had that mindset of going out there and proving that we're the Kansas City Chiefs and that we still have a chance to go out there and win the AFC Championship and then win the AFC West and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's it. And win the AFC West like they do every year and host playoff games like they do every year and win 12-plus games like they do every year. Ever since Patrick Mahomes got there, a team that hadn't won a playoff game in a quarter century.
Wait for the question.
They hide. No.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Good to see you. No.
Guy from Texas Tech with $250 million.
Okay, now, and that same guy post $250 million and post the MVP and post the Super Bowl win and the other Super Bowl appearance, he still was picked to finish third in his own division. You have an AFC West team making the Super Bowl. Remind me who it is, because it wasn't the Chiefs. I know they lost this weekend, and the team you have beating them in the Super Bowl is the team the Chiefs just hung 40 on. A lot of folks have them missing the playoffs.
Who? No,
I have not heard that.
I'll show it to you.
I have not heard that.
Okay, I'll show it to you guys. After I don't want to name names particularly, but there is a network that might be owned by the NFL who a lot of their most famous broadcasters have them missing the playoffs.
Okay.
They certainly don't have them making the Super Bowl. How could you? When the big bad Buffalo Bills, who have never beaten the Chiefs in a single big game since Bruce Smith was there, they're going to run away with it. And Josh Allen, who our Greg Jennings called the best player in the league. Patrick Mahomes is the most disrespected great player in football. I'd say he's the most disrespected great player in all of sports, but there's LeBron, so we'll set that aside. Guys, how many yeah buts do we need? Yeah, but he's got Tyreek Hill. Well, he doesn't anymore. What are we going to say? Yeah, anyone could do that with Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know. Maybe that's what's coming next. What I know is...
but it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, okay.
But...
So that's great. So, again, that's fine. We know how the season ends with the AFC playoffs going through Arrowhead, also known as the Arrowhead Invitational. And last year it didn't go great at the very, very end. But ever since can we show... I'm going to switch up on the producers. I apologize. The statistical full screen, if we could. That one, not the other one. Because ever since the league figured out Patrick Mahomes, something very interesting has happened. He's figured out how to play the highest level of football maybe anyone ever has. So that's all it is. And now he's doing it with Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and other guys cast-offs, not Tyreek Hill. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, who wins all the MVPs, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Devontae Adams, so all of a sudden can't score a touchdown. So, Coach, I think the Chiefs look pretty impressive. That's my take. I think they look pretty good.
I should have gone to you first. I apologize.
I think the segment's over.
I know.
First time I get back into the studio and I got to come back to this.
Yeah.
I saw the score. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I'm going to walk into. Look, I think it was a great way to start the season. Much better than they started the season last year, right? Didn't they struggle a little bit early on in the season when he was playing superhero ball all the time and they put everything on him and he had to make every play and then go into last year and kind of struggled through that for a while and then was able to get right and things got back to normal. So as much as last year you didn't look into it and say, okay, this is who he is. I don't know if you can look at the first game of the season and say they're completely back. They're not going to miss Tyreek Hill at all. Did Juju Smith-Schuster, didn't he fumble a couple times yesterday? Or?
Yeah.
So I mean, there were some things that happened.
50 ball.
And some
still kind of mad about it.
Some of it could be a function of the team that they played and the problems they're having. They've lost 5 out of 6 games going back to last year. Head coaches talked about what a poor week of practice they had, how they need to learn how to practice better. So there are some things that happen. And here's the other thing. The first game of the season is so different than every other game because you're surprised by stuff that people hold back. You don't know what you're going to get. So to read too much into this is a mistake. And I know you want to coronate him. You do.
No, you're right.
He's
already correct. No, Coach is right, though. So the first week of the season, listen to what he said. You hold stuff back. So imagine what the Chiefs are
No,
going to look like.
going
when
into the game.
Look at what the Chiefs are going to look like when they actually unleash it all.
Well, let me say this, and Coach, as obnoxious as that 9-minute rant was from Nick.
He didn't take a breath.
No. You deserve that.
Yeah,
he
course.
deserved it.
Yeah.
Does he?
It was a bad opening night, Coach. You weren't here Friday. It was bad for him.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
some
because the
other.
Bills,
I
the
mean,
best
we
team
saw
in
Trey
football.
Lance. That was bad. But you deserve this. I'm glad you got it out of your system. Fire was in your eyes, my man. You could see it. All right,
Listen, they're
but
just chasing the
I
Bills.
do agree with you.
0-time Super Bowl champion.
You made a strong statement about Mahomes being the most disrespected player in the league. I actually agree with that, Coach. NFL.com, the official website of the league, they had a story last week where they ranked all the quarterbacks heading into week 1.
Yeah.
Mahomes was fifth.
Behind.
And if you want to argue Brady and Rodgers and I got Mahomes, but you can argue
Rodgers.
those guys.
You can't argue
You can argue just regular season. If you want to argue Rodgers regular season. But how do you have Justin Herbert ahead of Mahomes? Hasn't been to the playoffs yet.
And
I know I'm
everyone's
talking
got
regular
Josh
season.
Allen ahead of
but and Josh Allen. So I do think Mahomes but he's disrespected because he's a victim of his own success. I mean, when you come out your first year as a starter and throw 50 touchdowns, win the MVP, second year you win the Super Bowl. I mean, anything below that now, and that's what people are judging him on. The standard is so high. It's Brady and Mahomes, that type of standard. And if he doesn't reach it, now everybody's ripping him. So I agree with you on that.
How many Super Bowls did Brady win in his first 5 years?
His first 5 years, he won
3.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine.
But he didn't have the numbers. He didn't have the individual numbers.
I know. A second. Wait.
Being the most disrespected player in football, you really think that's
of all the great
fair
players?
depiction?
Yes, I do. Because we're not comparing him to the conversation isn't about Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady 20 years ago. The question is Patrick Mahomes versus quarterbacks in 2022, right. And all these guys who've done nothing except for come to Arrowhead and get their asses kicked in the playoffs, or not even get to the playoffs. And Justin Herbert, who I like a lot, those guys get anointed past him. And last year it was, they figured him out. And this year before the season, they ranked him 8th in the league. And Sandoz Tears article, one of the guys said, he's a backyard passer, right. Playground quarterback when it breaks down, which is why Wilds, and you'll like this, and then I'll shut up. I just hope you guys don't follow Patrick on Twitter, I don't think. Because he had a very interesting tweet from, I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. Can we show Patrick's tweet about what everyone was saying about the Chiefs headed into the year?
That
keep
was
talking
his
about my
tweet?
squad, our personnel, ages, the way he plays, he stays injured, we're past our time in this league. Do me one favor, please, and I mean please, keep that same narrative energy when it begins. That's all I ask.
That didn't work for LeBron,
doesn't even make
that
sense.
tweet didn't work for LeBron.
I like the creativity, but editorially, someone on the production staff should have stopped that.
Why?
LeBron deleted that tweet.
And it didn't work for it. It didn't work for it.
Almighty.
I'm just letting you know for you guys.
All right, Coach.
That tweet backfired magnificently.
I try to take the lessons that you've taught me during the show and our reign together and not get too high, not get too low week 1. Patriots didn't look good. I try to stay at even keel. But, man, the Chiefs did look pretty good. After 5 touchdowns, and the way that they were happy, he's doing these spins, he's throwing these little lollipops to Travis Kelce. I think he threw an underhanded pass
Thought
there.
the behind the back was coming.
Do you feel like there is a little bit, and then he did his counting thing. He was like, 4 again. Do you think there was a little bit of extra motivation that all right, we're no longer the hunted, we're the hunters?
Yeah. Hopefully there's some extra motivation. They have, in Nick's mind, the greatest player to ever play football, so they should be winning Super Bowls on a consistent basis. So if they now feel like they're hunted, because obviously last year at the start of the season that didn't work out very well for them, maybe having this new perspective will be good for them. But again, I caution reading too much into one game, and young quarterbacks who are propelled ahead of them. That's a mistake you make with a lot of young players, where you put them in the Hall of Fame after they have 6 good games.
The only guy, I just want this on the record, as long as I've known Coach, there is one player that I have ever, after his 3rd game, said he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And you know who it was? Patrick Mahomes. And you know what? I was right. Coach always brings that up. He's like, you love putting popes in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, yeah, this guy who's going to, I think Coach just said, is the greatest player ever. I think that was the direct quote. Eric Mangini, who a lot of people say is the greatest player ever. I think that's what he said.
Hey,
welcome back.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.